Hi Stampers, this is Kim Tolbert with Great Inspirations. Thank you for joining me. As you can see, I have an array of holiday gift tags I made. And each of these tags has something in common. And that is I have used dies or punches to create the tags. Now, the tag base is also something that is the same for all of the tags. And I used the Tailor Made Tags Dies from Stampin' Up. I only used this style of tag. I will make tags using this style at a later date. And then the two dies that I used was, of course, the tag die. And I used this little die that cuts out these little pieces. And I cut out enough for 2 for each tag. And I call them the reinforcements because you put them right up here where the little hole is for the ribbon or for the twine. And it just makes it a little stronger, so if it's tugged on or pulled, it's not going to tear quite as easily. And we'll talk a little bit more about those in just a bit. And I thought I would walk you through how I made these just real quickly. We will start with this little Christmas tree tag because it just was one of the quick and easiest tags I've ever made. And before I get too much farther, I wanted to let you know that the stamp sets I used were various stamp sets, but mostly I used the Penguin Place. And for this one, there's the Season's Greetings. And I used the snowflakes on some of them. And on the tag with the penguin, I used the little eyes and the beak. And then I also used banner year on one of the cards. I believe it's this one, yes, for the to and from. And then I used snowman season also for the to and the from and the let it snow. However, for these cards, any stamp set you have that has a to or from or snowflakes or any of the other images or sentiments, use those. Use what you have to make the tags. So for this tag, well, first let me show you. What I did, I was using my scraps, and I have a box of pre-cut card bases in all colors. Some I've scored and folded, some I have not. And so I just was going to show you, and this might not be the easiest one to see because it's white on white, but I was able, when I cut it, when my card base was cut at 11 by 4 1/4, I was able to get 5 tags. And then to cut this little piece, you need 2 each for each tag, so I was going to need 10. Of course, this cuts 3, so I needed 3 of them, and then plus 1 little one. So that's I just kind of die cut them, and then I put this one on the edge and die cut it. So that's if you use a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11. Now, on my blog, I have pictures of these little templates, I guess you could call them. And I also have all the cutting measurements and supplies and all that. And in the description of this video, I will put a link to my blog. Now, this piece of cardstock is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And this one happened to be one that I had already scored and folded. So I was able to get 2 tags on this side and this side. So I needed 8 of the little reinforcements, and so that meant cut out 3. Now, here is a piece I had that I think this was the first one I cut. This was not scored. So I was able to put a tag here, here, and two in the middle, and then along the edge cut my reinforcements. But this one I had to do differently simply because this card base had been scored. So I used those, and like I said, those will be on my blog. And now we'll get back to this little tag right here. And I already have die cut the card base and adhered the little reinforcement to it. And then we just need to take, oops, we don't need that yet. Just take this punch, it's the Pine Tree Punch, it's in the annual catalog. And as you can see, I've already punched several of the tree images out of this piece of Designer Series paper. And this is the Evening Evergreen. No, it's not, it's the Soft Succulent. Just gonna punch a tree. And then we have some Real Red ink, and I have the Sentiments Season's Greetings. That's not on there very straight. And this is from the Penguin Place, and then the To and From is from the Banner Year. So we'll go ahead and stamp those. Flip it over. There's the To and the From. We'll flip it back over. I'm going to use some liquid adhesive. I found pretty much for all the tags it was just easier to use the liquid adhesive. Put this right here. And then I used some gems, and I have a whole list of possible gems that you could use on my blog. I think these are the ones that are the in color ones for 2021 to 23, and they were in the Soft Succulent. And these are actually Coastal Cabana, and they are in the Holiday Rhinestones. But I'm going to use these, the blue adhesive back gems, and these are in the annual catalog, and some of these are very blue, but these are more of iridescent. They have a green and a gold. So we'll just put 3 of those on there. There's that. And now we just needed a string or a ribbon for the tag. And on this I used the Soft Succulent sheer ribbon. It's in the annual catalog. But today I wanted to show you I'm using some baker's twine. And it was actually white. And it was from here, the Baker's Twine Essential Pack. It has white, crumb cake, basic black, gray granite, and very vanilla. So all I'm going to do with that is thread it through. And then with twine or any other thin trim like this, I usually tie a knot at the top. The ribbon, I usually just cut it off at an angle. Right there. But what I did with the baker's twine, the white, I just took a piece of it and I took the Soft Succulent Stampin' Blends. It's an alcohol-based marker. And I took the dark. We have light and dark variations of the color. And I just took it over it's just like I've shown you before coloring a ribbon. I just did the same thing. This is basically cotton, so it colors really well. Now, it will make it a little stiffer, but that's one good way to get something that coordinates with whatever you are creating. So there's that. And there's a little tag. Now, the next tag, let's put those down there. Let's see, let's do the little penguin one. Now, on this penguin, I did it a couple different ways. On some, I used the white, the velvet paper that's in the mini catalog. And I used this die to cut the little curves. I just took a piece of cardstock that was 1 3/4 square. I laid it on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. I put the die on, just sort of angled it wherever I thought it looked right, and ran it through, and then you get something similar to this. Now, this die is one that comes from the basic banner or basic border dies, and it's one I had trouble originally using. It's like, well, it kind of looks like clouds, and you know, but I thought it was really good to make little, looks like little tufts of snow maybe. So that's what I used on this one. But this is just regular cardstock. However, this is that white velvet paper, as I told you. So when you run that through your die cutting machine, you would put it, there's the paper, or pretending like that's the white velvet paper, and then you would put your die on. But then, before you put your next cutting plate down, put a little piece of tissue paper, because that will keep anything that happens to be on this plate, like little specks of cardstock, from getting on that paper. Because let me tell you, it's really hard to get off. So, and then you would just run it through like that. And actually, this piece of tissue paper came between these two cutting plates. I just save it and I use it to do that on the velvet paper and the foil papers. It works really well. And you'll be able to use this piece of tissue paper over and over again. So there is that part of the little penguin. Now, for this one, I just used the basic black cardstock and the basic white cardstock. But for this one, I used our rainbow glimmer paper to make the little snowbank he's sitting in, and for his little feet. And then I used the black glimmer paper that's in the holiday catalog for the penguin. Now, what I wanted to show you about him, see, we have a couple of little penguins here, and we have the tag already put together. This is what it looks like before the penguin's on. But I want to show you a little trick for his eyes. And all I do to kind of make him look a little more lively is I take our Stampin' Chalk marker, it's white marker, and I just put a little dot on his eyes. And I know it's not a big difference, but it does make a little bit of difference. It just makes him look like he has a little bit of life to him. Now, to finish off this tag, I put him, little penguin, on some dimensionals. And sometimes I put him over here, sometimes I put him over here. It just kind of depended on how my little curves landed. And I think I will put him right here. And then I use some of that white glittery ribbon that's in the mini catalog for this one, because he's all glittery. And for this one, I just used some of that Simply Elegant trim in the silver that is in the annual catalog. But for this guy, I decided I would show you something I've shown you before. This is my favorite ribbon ever. It is the white crinkled seam binding ribbon. And I just cut off, about 7 inches, 6, 7 inches. And again, I took a Stampin' Blend. This one is Balmy Blue Dark. And I just colored the ribbon. Get a good place to get a hold of it. And this dries quickly. The alcohol dries really quickly. And there it is. And here it is. It's kind of still, nice and limp right now. But after it dries, it does get a little more stiff. But that's okay. It's still easy to work with. And so we'll just kind of thread him through here. Probably trim that just a tad. And there he is. And of course, I used the Penguin Builder Punch for him, to punch him. Okay, so there's that one. And then the next one we I made, is the Snowman. And he's made with dies. And I've used some more of that glittery ribbon, the white glitter ribbon that's in the mini catalog. And this Pool Party, the striped gross grain ribbon, is also in the mini catalog. So for the Snowman, I used 2 of the layering circle dies. And on my blog, I have what dimension they are, but I used one that when the circle is cut in half, he fits within the stitching on the tag. So let me get him. And you can either cut it in half on your paper trimmer or just use your scissors. It does not have to be exact. And then I use this die and some pumpkin pie. And I cut a circle, and then I cut the circle in half, and then I just sort of eyeballed it and started cutting some noses. And they don't have to be exact. You can, just cut them however you want. And you'll get more noses than you need, so if there's some you don't like, that's okay. Well, if you're going to make, I made 4 at a time. And this you probably could get 8 or 12 noses from just one little circle. But we'll put that away. We'll put this one away. And we'll work on his face. And the first thing I did was put his nose on because for me, that helps me to kind of see where I need to put his other features. And to do that, I did use glue dots. Of course, I had put my glue dots very far away. Let me get them. Let's see. This looks like it could be a fun nose. Yeah, we'll use that. Just put the glue dot on the back. Put that right here. And then I used a Stampin' Up basic black marker. And on these two, I have little wiggle mouths or squiggle mouths. But on some others, I made little dots like coal. Now, one thing I will warn you, because after I got all this done, I put Wink Estella on it. It did great on these little mouths, nothing smeared, but on the little dots, you have to be careful because it will smear, especially if it hasn't dried enough. So on this one, I thought, well, we'll make some little dots for his mouth. I used 5. You can use as many as you want. And then for me, he always has to have some little pink cheeks because he's out in the cold. So I used the Flirty Flamingo Light Stampin' Blend. And I was just going to look around, figure out where to put his cheeks, try to get him about the same size. And then that's really pink, right? So I take the color lifter and I just kind of round and round and round. This will make it the cheeks a little bit bigger, but it also lightens it up a bit. So there he is. And then here is our little tag base where I've stamped the Let It Snow, and that is from the Snowman season stamp set. And then on the back, the to and from, and I've stamped little snowflakes. Now I'm just going to use some more of the liquid glue. Just place him down here at the bottom. Oops. Well, I'm glad I used liquid glue because he is really moving around on me. And there he is. Now, as you can, I told you I used that, I think it's white organdy glitter ribbon and the Pool Party gross grain ribbon. But we also have in the annual catalog this Pool Party sheer ribbon. And I thought that would be pretty. So I just cut a piece of that. And these, all these I cut somewhere between 6 and 7 inches. Seems to be what works for me. And hopefully I can get this threaded through here. Kind of got it at an odd angle. Let's try that again. Now this ribbon will fray a little bit on the end, and that's okay because we're going to trim it. There we go. So that tag was really easy to make. They're all really easy to make and they go quickly. It didn't take me any time at all to have, was it about, I don't know, 13 tags, however many I'd cut out. But I did, one more thing I wanted to show you was putting these little reinforcement pieces on. The best way I found to do it is to use the liquid glue. I get out my craft mat, my silicone craft sheet, and the liquid glue, and I have a little piece of paper towel. And then I just add some glue, and that's way too much, but it'll be okay. Because I'll show you what we're going to do here. And my little trick for dealing with these little teeny tiny pieces that I have to put glue on is I just take a little piece of paper towel and pick it up. It takes off all the excess glue. It makes it easier to handle. And then you just push that in place. We'll turn it over. We have one more to do. Use another little piece of paper towel. Pick it up. Put it in place, and there you go. So that is how I made these Christmas tags. And they were pretty quick and easy. And as I said, everything will be on my blog, and that link will be in the description of this video. There's the one we just made together. And then here's the little penguin we made together. A couple of other versions. There's the little tree we made together. Push these down a little bit. I'm running out of space. There we go. So there you have it. Some quick and easy holiday tags for all the gifts you're going to be giving this season. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you have liked any of the tips I've given you in this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please do so if you would like. And until next time, stamp happy!